If you live in Nigeria, that means the long holidays are upon you. We are actually living in the same kind of scenario right now. That means your kids are home and my kids are home, and this is the longest holiday in the school year. And it is that time where mothers really are wondering, oh, what do I do? How do I keep these children occupied? How do they stay productive? How do I maintain sanity? Right? And especially if you're an auntie, holiday school kind of mom, just like me, you want to stick around and don't go away. I'm going to be sharing some tips on how to create sanity in your home during the long holidays, even when your children are not off to holiday school. I'll be right back. Welcome back. Thank you for not going away. This is your first time here. I'd like to specially welcome you. Thank you for joining us. We are so delighted to have you here. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you for always coming back. I do not take your presence here for granted at all. Thank you for always, those of you who always share the link to my videos on your WhatsApp statuses. I see you and I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. So I'm going to be diving into what we're talking about today, right? So it is the long holiday season for us. Depending on what part of Nigeria you live in, I know we have different calendars, but generally schools go on vacation in the month of July. A few of them went on vacation at the end of June, right? So we are generally, either you're just starting or you're already 2 weeks in. For us, I think we're already 2 weeks in. My kids went on vacation a bit earlier than most of the schools around them. Yeah, so they are all home. And I work from home, right? I run my business from home. My office is in the home. So that means I have a lot to combat with, right? So, and there are many mothers out there. You may be running your business from home. You may be working a 9 to 5, but you're working a remote job, and you are wondering, how do I create sanity around the house? What do I do? And especially for mothers, I meet several mothers who tell me they don't want to send their kids to holiday school, but they don't really know what to keep them busy with. They're always hungry. They're just all over the place, making a lot of noise. So I want to share what I've used over the years, because my children have only been to summer school once. And that was many years ago. I think Darren was just like 2 years old, right? And he's 9 now. So that was just once they went to summer school. I didn't really like it. I just do not buy the idea of children going to school during the holidays. Now, I'm not knocking the idea. I'm not knocking the concept. That is just me. It's just what has always been my preference. I don't see why my kids should be back in school when they should be on holiday, right? So, but when I took that step after they went to summer school once, and they stayed back at home with me, it was a lot. They were just a handful at that time. So that was when I began to learn about creating routines for children. So I drew a routine for them during the holiday. I think they started using holiday routines from as far back as when my youngest child was 4 years old. Yes, when he was 4. I think then they had already moved to, they had changed schools from where they were before to Divine North Spring School. So I began to create my own routine for them. Now in their school, they have a routine they give to them, and they teach them about routines. But that started maybe like 2 years ago. So I started doing my own routine on my own for my children. So I created this routine, and it began to give us a lot of order. That is how I've been able to stay and not send my kids off to summer school. And we have sanity around the home. So I'm going to be showing you, there's a picture of the routine. It's going to be on the screen, right? I'm just going to snap it and let you see what it looks like. It's nothing fancy. I didn't even print it. It is actually handwritten. So I wrote it with my hand and I just pasted on their wardrobe, and they go there and they see what to do. They know what direction that they should go. So let me share a few things this has helped us to achieve. You may be like, oh, they will not follow. My kids are too young. My son was 4 years old when he started following routines, right? So if you have younger children, the routine is going to be for you, the mother, right? And I know that is a lot, because you still have to give them a lot of supervision. In that season of their lives, that was what I did. I supervised them myself. I did not run a book consultation business at that time. So my time was really flexible. I owned my time. I didn't have a boss I was answering to. So if you're in that place where you are at home, you're not doing a 9 to 5, and your time is flexible, this is going to help you a lot. You're just going to decide that you're going to cut down on irrelevant things. You're going to put your time and your attention on what matters. And trust me, this season of their life, when they are little, your attention is not a waste. It may look like you're wasting time in the backside of life, but you are a type of David right now. Remember David, he was in the backside of life, taking care of sheep, of his father's flock. It did not look fancy. I'm sure he smelled perpetually of animal dung and just the dirt of being in the outdoors constantly. It was nothing fancy at all. But that was where David built intimacy with God. That was where he built and he learned courage and skills to that positioned him to eventually face Goliath. So I'm just saying this aside. This is not my focus for today's video. I'm just saying this to encourage a young mother out there that this time you look like you're not in the limelight. If you're in that place where you feel like you're just in the house doing thankless jobs, it's not fancy, it's not postable, it's not shareable. Trust me, what you are doing is ingredient to a life that God has prepared for you, to a future that actually awaits you now and awaits every mother, because we will not always have little babies, right? So your investment in this season, take it seriously. Like Paul the apostle said, I magnify my office. Magnify your office as a stay-home mom. Do not let anybody talk you down, right? So tell yourself, I'm going to sit down. This is the job description for this season of my life, and I'm going to do it well, right? So I believe that somebody needed to hear that, and I just thought to say that so that you can um, apply yourself to the routines I'm about to talk about right now. So I'm going to be sharing what routines have done for me and how they help us, right? And how they are going to help you too. Number one, your routines are going to give you structure and consistency. That's what it's going to bring into your life. It's going to take away that disorderliness that hangs around the home during the holiday season. You will begin to have structure and consistency. When people do not have results, the kind of result they desire, it's not because they don't have good intentions, it's because they do not have structure, right? Our outcomes will only line up and measure up with the kind of structure we have put in place. So when you have a structure in your home, you're going to begin to see better outcomes, right? So that's the first thing your routines are going to do for you. It will give you consistency and structure. Another thing routines have helped me achieve is that it helps us reduce decision fatigue. You know that feeling you get when you are like thinking, oh, what do I do now? What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to eat? What's the day going to look like? You have to make several decisions in one day. On Monday, you have a lot of decisions to make. On Tuesday, you have several new decisions to make. On Wednesday, you have a whole set of decisions beckoning. The reason that is happening is because you do not have a structure. You have not drawn a routine. And a routine, please don't make the mistake of having a routine in your mind. It must be written down. It must be somewhere you can see it, right? That is what a routine, that's what an effective routine should look like. So it reduces that stress. On Monday, you're not going to be waking up and thinking, what am I going to do today? Because it's already a routine. When you wake up on Monday, you know exactly what to do. On Tuesday, you know exactly what to do. You are not wasting mental energy thinking up what the day should look like, right? It's just like when you have a meal timetable in your house. Making meals becomes less stressful. You're no longer under that pressure of what are we going to eat. You know that line? I usually hate it. For the longest time, it plagued me so much. Mommy, what are we eating? Or my husband is asking, babe, what are we having for dinner? That energy to think, I think, is even more than the energy I use to cook the food itself. So that's what having a routine does. It removes that, it frees you of that, what's it called? Decision making fatigue. You are waking up into a prepared outline. You know what your day should look like. Another thing routines have helped us do, and even in this short time, we've had like about 2 weeks and some days of the holiday already. It helps to form habits. It helps for habit formation in your children. I hear parents who say that their children spend 18 hours on their laptop. I heard a parent, a dad, it was like he had to seize his son's laptop because he spent 18 hours on some days. He's just in his room. He's on his laptop that he had to seize it. He was so upset with him. That kind of thing would usually happen when there is no routine. So when you have a routine, it helps the children form habits. And you know what? Whatever you do repeatedly, whether you like it or not, whether it is good or bad, it becomes a habit, right? So that is what routines do for us. That's what routines are going to do for your children this holiday. They help them form habits. And some of these habits, you may think they are just like, oh, just for the holiday. No, they have long-term effect on your children's minds. They have long-term effect on their lives, right? So that's another important thing that routines do for us. For example, one of the things on our routine list is on our routine for the day, for the week, is that they have a time for reading. You have a time to read a novel. You have a time to read a book that edifies you, right? A Christian literature. So I asked them, I didn't impose, I asked them to pick, go to their daddy's bookshelf and pick any book they want to read. So they picked the book, they showed it to me, I approved it, and that's the book they are reading. So when the time comes for that book, they are able to read that book. So that habit is being formed in them. The habit of sitting down with a book to read, right? So now they know that at this particular time every day, I'm going to be reading this book. You discover that you have closed the window of nothingness around them. Of course, children will always be children. They will still veer off at some point. They will still get distracted at some point. But because there's a structure, when they get distracted, they are able to pull themselves back. They are able to see the line that, oh, I've stepped out of the line. They can step back in line. But when there is no physical line, they can just spend the whole day on wasted activities, on TikTok, on watching YouTube shorts, watching comedy and laughing the whole day. And then before you know it, look at July. July is almost ending. Before you know it, August is gone. Then it's time for a new school year. And they are going back to school without improving themselves. They are going back to school without adding any value to themselves. They are even going back to school feeling more tired than they were when the exams were ending at the end of the last session. So that is one of the things routines will do for your kids. It will give them wholesome habits and help to check their daily activities. Another thing routine is doing for them and doing for me too, and will do for you as their parent, is that it improves their focus and efficiency. It improves their focus and efficiency. I know that some of these points, they seem similar, right? They are all intertwined, right? They're all interwoven. But I like to speak to this specifically, how that increases their efficiency. Now, when they wake up, the way I did the routine, I blocked several hours of the day and I have activities for those blocks of time. So within those block of time, you can decide how you want to place the order of priority, but you just ensure that within those block of time, you're going to achieve these things. So by the time they wake up, they know that this is what I'm supposed to do at this time. So they are becoming more efficient with how their day runs. They are efficient in all, whatever they have to do. They are not wasting time. Even when they waste time, like I said, they are able to catch themselves and step back in line because there's a physical line, a visible line that they can see that is guiding the activities for the day. So it just generally at the end of the day, they've had a more efficient day. Even if there are going to be pockets of moments they were doing things they are not supposed to do, generally their lives are more productive because there's a routine. So don't make the mistake of giving them an open-ended day. It's going to be filled with distractions. They will binge watch TV. They will binge watch. They will spend time on their laptops. They will spend time on their phones if they have phones. They will spend time chatting endlessly. And guess what? By the time the day is done, they are exhausted. They've not had an effective day. They have not had a productive day. They are even more tired than when the day started. So you don't want that for your children this long holiday. Another thing the routine is helping us build is it helps to reduce stress. It helps to reduce stress. Um, when you wake up to a day that has no plan, you wake up with some measure of anxiety. But when you wake up to a day that already has a pre-planned routine, a pre-planned schedule, it's called that your anxiety levels are very low. In fact, they are non-existent. You are waking up confidently. You are waking up knowing exactly what to do, exactly what to focus on. And when stress levels are reduced, not just for you, the parents, but for the children, sometimes we feel like, oh, mental health is just for adults. No, we begin to watch their mental health from even when they are kids. That's actually the best time, the healthiest time, the safest time to begin to put an eye on these very important aspects of their lives. So when their stress levels are reduced, they are less cranky. They are not going to be fighting. They're not going to be agitated. Because though they are children, they are complete 100% humans who have a right to feel what they feel. They have a right to feel anxious. They have a right to also feel calm and confident because the day is planned out. Minutes ago, my son walked up to me, was like, he's always the first to wake up, and was like, Mommy, thank you for giving us a routine. This was before I even did this video. And he said, Mommy, thank you for giving us a routine. He said, at first, I thought it was going to be boring and stressful. He said, but it is less stressful. He knows exactly what to do. And that even prompted me to actually sit down and do this video. So when they wake up, they know this is what I'm supposed to do. They are not wasting time. They are not dilly-dallying. They're not just, going about the day. They know exactly what to be doing between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. They know what to do between 11:30 and 2 p.m. And that has brought some measure of rest to me, right? Like I mentioned, children will always be children. There'll be times where they still want to just play around and forget what they're supposed to do. But by the time I step back in and call them and say, look at what are we supposed to be doing now? They're like, oh, okay. And then they're able to step back in line. So routines help you to create that sanity around your home. It helps to increase productivity. It reduces your stress levels. Trust me. I mean, if I'm working from home, but I'm able to create, I'm able to work with sanity because everybody knows what everybody is supposed to be doing. When they are doing chores or doing something that is not so fun, they know that, oh, somewhere ahead of this routine, we're going to have playtime. We're going to have maybe outing time. We're going to have family time. We're going to have TV time. And then they are excited about it, right? So when they sit down, even watching TV, because they know it has a limited time, they are careful and they are mindful of what they are going to watch. They are not going to waste that 1 hour 30 minutes flipping through channels aimlessly. So they'll find something that is productive, something that is useful to them, something they are going to enjoy, and then they are going to watch it and know that, okay, after this time we shut off the television. So that way I'm just at peace. I'm not worried that my children are just binge watching TV, they're just sitting down there. No, they are able to have rest, they are able to have fun, they are able to have productivity times, they are able to build their spirit, they have quiet time also on their routine. So they are able to do all of these things. Before you know it, it's 9 p.m., it's 10 p.m., like the day is over. But it was generally a more effective day than if there was no routine around their lives, right? So create these routines for your children. You can feel free to copy mine, right? But do what works for you. Like I said, it's not a perfect straight jacket kind of thing. It is to guide you, because there are days where we may go out. So that means that day's routine is different from every other day, from the regular routine where we are all home. So, but when we go out and come back, we are able to catch ourselves and know, okay, this is where we are at. We can now catch up from here. This is what we are supposed to be doing. I also included this in this holiday, a Bible study time. We're studying the book of Romans. There's a time for that. So every day we are doing a chapter of the book of Romans. And because it's in the routine, even when I am tired, even when I'm like, okay, I want to lie down and rest, but the routine is calling my name. So because that routine is there, I'm going to get up and we're going to do it. Remember, a plan you have that was not written down is not a plan. It will not guide you. It will not produce results. So draw this routine, put it where you can see it, and begin to follow it. It will reduce the stress around you, to a very significant level. If your children like creative works like painting and all of that, buy them art supplies. Let it be in their routine time. Create snack time, create TV time, create game times. Let them know that this is what we're doing at this time. And before you know it, your day is going to run very fast and it's going to be productive. And by the time the holiday is ending, you have bonded with your children. You did not see them as pests. They were not like, oh, just noisemakers around you. They had time to build themselves. They edified themselves. They bonded as siblings. You bonded with them as their parents. And then they're going back to school refreshed. You know what it is? I talked about how that the routine helps to reduce what's it called, mental stress, and then decision making fatigue. When their brains have gone through that kind of restfulness, they are going to be entering a new school year at a cutting edge. They are going to be entering that new school year prepared for whatever it is that lies ahead of them, right? They are going to be rested. They are going to be going back like ready to take on the term. So sometimes children go on holiday and they resume tired. They are waking up Monday morning, they are crying, I don't want to go to school. That may have been because they had an open-ended holiday. So if you have not had this kind of plan in place, don't beat yourself up. You can still do that. Create one from today. So tomorrow morning, yourself and your family are going to be waking up into that routine, right? And it's a game changer. It has helped me, frankly, from a mom who has not done summer school for, I don't know, the last time I did was maybe 2016, right? That has helped us have this peace around the house, sanity around the house, productivity around the house, and order around the house, right? I hope this has helped somebody out there. And like I told you, feel free to, you can copy, you can do a screenshot and use the structure for yours, or do what works for you. Um, I pray that God protects our children during this holiday, that His hand remains on them, that there's peace around you, there's joy around you, that in spite of the economic climb, that you walk in abundance, that God provides for you, provides for their the school fees in the next term, and just makes it a beautiful time. The devourer will not have a lay hand, a finger on any of our children in the name of Jesus. I pray for them that they are protected in whatever they eat, whatever they drink, as they play. They will not become victims of sexual pervert, of any man, any woman that carries any evil agenda against them in the name of Jesus Christ. So I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Next video, I'm going to be talking about um, how to make the right decision if you're about to change your child's school. What should you look at? What should you consider? I'll be sharing my story of how we changed their school several years ago, and I know that a mother or a father out there is going to learn a thing or two. So thank you for watching today's video. Remember to subscribe, to like, to share. Yeah, share this with parents in your circle, those who are wondering what to do with this holiday season. Thank you so much. Now come your way again. Keep winning. Bye.